Uniting the Nations with the United Nations. 1 year and 2 months after the end of the First World War, on January 10, 1920, an organization created a historic path for international communication to resolve disputes. Nearly 2 years earlier, former President Woodrow Wilson had made his powerful 14-point speech, which included 14 unique points seeking future global peace in the hopes of preventing future international warfare. His final point called for a general association of nations for the purpose of affording mutual guarantees of political independence and territorial integrity to great and small states alike. While many of President Wilson's points were not implemented, his 14th point directly led to the creation of the League of Nations and the Treaty of Versailles, an international organization with the intent of collaboratively working together to solve disputes. However, while the general population approved of the League of Nations, the U.S. Senate did not, leading to America not ratifying the Treaty of Versailles and ironically not joining the organization that they had created. This caused President Wilson's forewarning to correctly predict another major war within the next century. Due to the lack of American participation, the infrequent success of the League of Nations was overshadowed by its frequent failures, ultimately leading to its downfall. These included a lack of authority against countries, the enforcement of resolutions, countries frequently leaving the League, especially Japan in 1933, failure to prevent wars, and Hitler's rise with German imperialism, which combined with the Axis threat of global peace eventually led to the collapse of the League of Nations and World War II. As the Allied powers fought against the unrestricted Axis powers during World War II, many countries realized how essential it was to have an effective worldwide organization to handle conflicts. On January 2, 1942, representatives of 26 countries, some of which who were at war with the Axis powers, met in Washington to sign the Charter Declaration of the United Nations that endorsed the Atlantic Charter, the 8 guiding principles of a post-war world, so that the world could rebuild and heal stronger with fairness, pledging to use their full resources against the Axis powers and agreeing not to make separate peace. This organization that has effectively guided international relations for over 75 years continues to unite nations and allows them to work together to develop international and domestic security, create global cooperation, and help solve and prevent crucial issues in every corner of our planet. In the midst of World War II was a historic moment for communication in history, as it provided a forum for countries to have a method of necessary, collective, and formal communication with each other, even in the absence of diplomatic relations, while effectively preventing hostility, creating a plethora of friendly relations and international cooperation, increasing the speed of human advancement, all while having a significant impact on solving important worldwide problems, including poverty, found in too many parts of our globe. The creation of the United Nations quickly allowed many countries to resume diplomatic relations and preserve peace, regardless of official relation or lack thereof. For instance, after World War II, Germany played a significant role in keeping international peace by being the second largest donor to the UN and paying for 6% of the United Nations peacekeepers' budget. Additionally, the United Nations Treaty Collection keeps an accurate first-hand record of over 560 different treaties enforced and created by the United Nations, with hundreds worked on by Germany. This shows that even a country that was enemies with many other countries can create diplomatic solutions efficiently while expressing their views and values. The treaties range from human rights and environmental protection to adding UN peacekeepers and places that prevent conflict. One of these treaties, known as the Montreal Protocol, was passed over 30 years ago in order to prevent international environmental damage to the ozone layer, and is still proven with an accurate and detailed description by both the latest scientific assessment of the ozone depletion and NASA to play a major role in helping to restore the ozone layer.
On what we did in implementing the Montreal Protocol, I think it is probably one of the most successful cooperative efforts that I have ever seen.
By communicating with all countries, the United Nations has and will continue to create methodical solutions such as the Montreal Protocol to help solve potentially dangerous problems, including restoring the diminishing ozone layer. In order to efficiently carry out agreements and create solutions, like the Montreal Protocol, the UN Charter Declaration established 6 main organs, each with different goals. One of these, the International Court of Justice, is located in the Netherlands and is the judicial branch of the United Nations, meaning that it is in charge of solving international disputes, clarifying international law, and giving advice on resolutions having a huge impact on international resolutions. The 15 elected judges in the court have ruled on over 178 vital disputes and communicate necessary advice to prevent potentially dangerous disputes. The 6 main branches system of the UN gives a voice to previously underrepresented countries such as Tuvalu and allows them a platform to discuss their issues so that they can be solved quickly and accurately, while different organs can check the work of other branches to ensure the security and stability of the system. This is important for solving critical issues quickly that can lead to major global conflicts or even catastrophes, like world hunger, which the UN aims to help solve with plans like the Zero Hunger Project. In order to solve national problems and create a better future, the UN communicates to all countries to create significant plans like the Sustainable Development Goals. These 17 goals help to internationally solve problems like gender inequality and life underwater by creating and enforcing agreed-on rules to accomplish milestones quickly. According to former Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, the elected leader of the UN, the Sustainable Development Goals are more than a vision. It is a plan for our shared future. For instance, the UN can work with more advanced first world countries like the US and communicate to give resources to less advanced third world countries like Chad to solve major issues there like extreme poverty and difficult water attainability. Without this vital communication bridge, many countries would continue to face problems that might become harsher, with little progress being made on some of the most important issues that humans face, like climate change and ensuring future generations.
Last year, world leaders came together here in New York to devise a plan for the next 15 years. What does the world look like by 2030? And they came up with 17 goals, the Sustainable Development Goals. And we performed a stress test last year, how countries are stacking up. And we did so for the rich countries because that was the first time that they were also involved.
Ultimately, the League of Nations was created during World War I and led the world as a partially successful organization that suffered from many weak points. Eventually, the weak points of the League led to it collapsing and showed one of their greatest failures with World War II. After World War II, the world came together to replace the dysfunctional League of Nations with the effective United Nations. The introduction of the United Nations led to many new historical improvements in communication and improves the quality of life for current and future generations. It allows all countries to collaboratively have formal communications with each other, even in the absence of diplomatic relations, while effectively preventing conflicts, creating diplomatic relations and international cooperation, increasing the speed of human advancement, all while helping to solve important worldwide problems. The UN is the most effective method of international diplomatic communication, conflict solver, international court system, and future planner. By creating a historical bridge in communication to the member of all countries, the UN improves the lives of billions of people daily, including those who live in poverty or without food security and even richer citizens. Without the UN, the world would take centuries to solve pressing issues like poverty, a challenge that impacts the lives of around 1 billion children daily. Without the United Nations, the world would additionally probably have another devastating major world war or other global catastrophe in the near future that would impact the lives of all humans for generations to come due to the lack of vital international communication for responding to conflicts quickly, solving disputes, and planning for the future of the world.